Pokemon Go's Hoenn tour is just around the corner, everyone, and today I'm going to be going through the entire event details and telling you all the really cool things that are going to be going on during this event that you may not know about and preparing you for what to expect during this event. So make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I guess go ahead and drop in the comments down below if you are Team Sapphire or Team Ruby, because I've already posted a poll on the community tab and it's been a pretty interesting response. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this event. The very first thing that we're going to talk about is the experience overall in and of itself. There are two different options for you to play during this event. There is the paid ticket research, which will give you kind of some extra goodies and a special Pokemon encounter. And then there is the event that is available for everyone. And I feel like I need to talk about this just because some people will be upset if they don't realize that this is not included in the free part of the game. The paid research ticket is essentially a way for you to encounter Shiny Jirachi. Now, Shiny Jirachi is not going to be available at any other time, as we've seen in the other previous tours, such as Kanto and the Johto tour over the last 2 years. You will not be able to encounter these special shiny mythical Pokemon at any other time during the game, or at least it's not been available yet. So if you really want to encounter Shiny Jirachi, this is going to be your only chance to do so. So the ticket itself is about $4.99 in the store, and when you go in and click on it, it'll actually show you the other things that are available. Now, in addition to encountering Shiny Jirachi, you'll also get 9 rare candy, 20,405 XP, which is really specific, 12,700 Stardust, 2 Poffins, 2 Incense, 30 Ultra Balls, and then a whole bunch of candy for Jirachi, Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza. So this research really isn't anything super special. You don't get different Pokemon encounters besides Jirachi, but if you are wanting Shiny Jirachi, this is your only opportunity to get it. Now let's talk about what is going to be available for everyone during this event, and this is kind of the main thing because this is all the information, and there is a lot, all right, from raids to eggs to wild encounters to choosing your Ruby or Sapphire badge. Now, depending on what team you've chosen, either Ruby or Sapphire, that is going to affect your gameplay during this event. What I mean by this is every single hour you are going to be completing field research tasks. Now, these are going to be acquired just by spinning Pokestops and those kinds of encounters. What's really interesting about this is the team that completes the most research during those times is going to affect the Pokemon that are going to be spawning. Now, what we are going to see here is that you are either going to see an increased Primal Groudon raids or increased Primal Kyogre raids. So whether you are Team Groudon or Kyogre, the more research that you do is going to affect what primal Pokemon is going to spawn more during those hours. Now, another really interesting kind of legendary Pokemon that we're going to see during this event is going to be Latios and Latias. Now, when you encounter Latios and Latias, you are also going to have the ability to encounter an additional one. But the way that you're going to do that is by taking a snapshot of a wild one. All right, I'm not 100% certain if this is only going to be like just randomly spawning in the wild or how this is going to work. However, if you encounter a Latios or a Latias and you take a snapshot of a wild one, it can't be a caught one that you already have, it has to be a wild one, you are going to then also be able to encounter an additional one. Essentially, it's going to photobomb your picture and you're going to be able to encounter just like you would with any other snapshot Pokemon. Now, the only difference with this is Latias is only going to be appearing for the Sapphire badges, whereas Latios will be appearing for the Ruby badges. Now let's talk about raids. The raids during the event, we're only going to be seeing 3 different types of raids. The first one is going to be simple 1-star raids, which is going to have the 3 starter Pokemon, which are Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip. So if you don't have a good one of these, if you don't have a shiny one, you'll be able to raid for it. However, most of us are probably going to be using our raid passes on the primal Pokemon, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. There are also going to be 5-star raids, and these 5-star raids are not going to be Rayquaza, they're not going to be anything else, they are going to be Deoxys. So if you have been wanting to catch yourself a Deoxys or a shiny Deoxys, you're going to be able to do that during the event hours during the 5-star raids. Now, getting to the really good one, which are primal raids. All right, this is when we're going to be getting primal Kyogre and primal Groudon. These are going to be coming in special eggs. They're not going to be 5-star eggs. They're going to be really special colored eggs, and I have to say the eggs look really cool. But for those of you that were able to attend the Vegas event, obviously you don't need this information. You know what they look like. But for the rest of us, the eggs are going to be kind of like a marbled color, and they are going to look very different from anything that we have seen before. Now, there will also be some special research research that is going to be available during this event, and it's going to be considered rare research that will give you Mega Energy or Ghost Pokemon encounters. I'm not 100% certain why they have chosen Ghost Pokemon as these kind of rare encounters, and they haven't even said what Ghost Pokemon will be the encounter Pokemon. All that they have said is that you will be able to collect Mega Energy and encounter Ghost type Pokemon with new rare field research tasks. So if you have some other kind of older research that needs Ghost type encounters or something like that, this will be great for that. However, I don't know what Pokemon it's going to be because they haven't exactly explicitly said in this information. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about before we move on to what kind of Pokemon you're going to encounter during the habitat hours is talking about an awesome Pokemon that I recently did a video on, and that's Kecleon. I'm going to try and link it somewhere up above for you to check it out later on, but Kecleon is going to be appearing during this event, and specifically you are going to have the opportunity to catch shiny Kecleon. All right, Kecleon is a very rare Pokemon, and it's actually quite hard to find. You have to be nearby it in order to catch it. Like I said, I have a whole video on it, so make sure you go check that out. But Kecleon is going to be spawning during the event in probably, I guess, increased numbers, more likely, especially because people are going to be doing research tasks in order to boost up their teams. Now let's talk about regular Pokemon spawns that are going to be happening in the wild during the events. If you're familiar with previous events, essentially what happens with these events is that every hour there is a different habitat and different Pokemon that will spawn in the wild. Now, the 4 habitats are going to be Blistering Sands, Eerie Mists, Verdant Earth, and Ancient Shores. And with each of these comes different Pokemon. So during the different event hours, you will be encountering different Pokemon. The very first one, which is Blistering Sands, is going to see you be able to encounter Torchic, Pukaina, Lotad, Nincada, Makuhita Nosepass, Aron, Cacnea, Numel, Baltoy, and Bagon. Now, I'm not sure how many of these might be new shinies. Honestly, I think there's not really any, maybe except for Cacnea on this one. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But moving on to Eerie Mists. All right, Eerie Mists is going to see Ralts, Surskit, Wishmer, Meditite, Spoink, Zangoose, Seviper, Chimicho, Absol, Snorant, Luvdisc, and Beldum. So this particular hour actually has a lot of really good Pokemon. Ralts is a fantastic shiny to get. Seviper is one that I don't have either. I'm not sure if this is a new shiny, but I've definitely tried to get this one before and failed. There's also going to be Beldum, which has been spawning quite a lot recently, and shiny Absol, which is another one that I'm going to be hunting down. Moving on to the 3rd habitat hour, which is Verdant Earth. All right, we have Trico, Zigzagoon, Wurmple, Seedot, Shroomish, Slackoth, Skitty, Mawile, Electrike, Roselia, Gulpin, and Swablu. For me on this one, Mawile is going to be what I'm after because, again, it's one of those Pokemon that I've been hunting and still not gotten a shiny of. But the other ones are pretty good. Slackoth is a great gym Pokemon if you want to have a Pokemon in a gym to get you coins. Shroomish, I think, is a great Pokemon as well, especially if you don't have a good Machamp. I would definitely recommend trying to get yourself a good Shroomish. And moving on to the final one, which is Ancient Shores. All right, we have Mudkip, Taila, Wingull, Carvanha, Barboach, Corphish, Lileep, Anorith, Phoebus, Spheal, and Clamperl. All right, Phoebus is one that is pretty rare, and definitely make sure you make the most of this event with this because you're going to want to get as much Phoebus candy as you can because Melodic takes a lot to evolve, and to get a good Melodic is very difficult. In addition to the Pokemon during the special hours, there are going to be some special Pokemon depending on whether you chose Sapphire or Ruby. Now for Sapphire encounters, you're going to have Minun, Illumise, Wailmer, Lunatone, and Castform, Rainy Form, and all of those can also be shiny. And then with the Groudon type, you're going to have Plusle, Volbeat, Trapinch, Solrock, and Castform, Sunny Form. These are only going to be spawning based off of the hourly results. So for example, if your team, if you are Sapphire or you are Ruby, you do the most research during the previous hour, what's going to happen is those Pokemon are going to start spawning for you, depending on which one it is, whether it's Groudon or whether it's Sapphire. Now moving on to talking about eggs, and this is one that I'm actually really excited about, and I'm going to explain to you why in a moment. Of course, during this event, there are going to be special eggs that you can hatch and special Pokemon that you can get from these eggs, and let's talk about this. All right, so from 2 kilometer eggs, we're gonna have Pichu, Igglybuff, Trico, Torchic, Mudkip, Azurill, and Wynot, all of which can be shiny. From 5 kilometer eggs, you're gonna have Surskit, Gulpin, and Cacnea. From 7 kilometer eggs, which come from your buddy gifts, these are gonna have Trapinch, Phoebus, Bagon, and Beldum, another really good set of Pokemon. However, the real gold, and this is the one that you guys really need to know about, is 10-kilometer eggs, because there are Pokemon that are going to be hatching from 10-kilometer eggs that not only have new shinies, but are not going to be spawning in the wild, and you can only get them from these eggs. So these Pokemon are going to be Torkoal, Tropius, and Relicanth. All right, so these are 3 really rare Pokemon that don't spawn very often. Relicanth in particular, I'm not 100% certain, but I feel like it's a regional Pokemon, and it is one that I don't even have in the Pokédex. So I am definitely going to be trying to get some of these 10-kilometer eggs. Now, as I said, the really cool thing about this is all 3 of these Pokemon can be shiny. So these are new shiny Pokemon that are coming to Pokemon Go. However, they're only going to be available in the 10-kilometer eggs. All right, everyone, that is all the information that you need to know about the upcoming Hoenn tour this weekend. I hope you guys are really excited for it, and I am definitely super excited. Make sure you check out either my previous Kanto tour or Johto tour videos. I will try to link them up there. I'm not sure if they will. If not, they will be linked in the description of the video. So make sure you check those out if you would like to see how previous tours have gone in the past. And also make sure that you check out the Kecleon catching video, because this is really important. If you've not encountered any wild Kecleon yet, you'll need to know how to encounter them, because I'm gonna just go ahead and assume it's going to be the same. I don't think that they're just going to be appearing in the wild like normal Pokemon. I think you're gonna have to encounter them the way that they've been so far. So I guess with that, everyone, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and let me know in the comments down below, are you Team Ruby or are you Team Sapphire?